Welcome back to Muslim Minds. We will be reacting to SNEAKO, a letter from Mecca. Because I think he went to Mecca, did Umrah.
Yeah, we went with Sheikh Uthman, and this is like a video kind of, I guess, recapping what his thoughts are, I guess. But
Okay, let's jump into it.
The first time I thought I understood God is while reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, the first real book my father had given me as a child. I remember the cover instantly made me shiver. I had never seen an expression on a face so determined that it was furious. I started idolizing Malcolm X. It's not often you find a civil rights leader that isn't cringy about it. Plus, he found a way to change his life in prison and gave himself a cool name. After finishing the last chapter, I went to the mall and bought the same glasses from the cover.
Where does he walk?
From that day forward, it became my mission to give my words power too, to document growth as means of inspiration just like Malcolm did. I swore to embrace the uncertainty of change head on instead of fearing it like everyone else.
There's a backstory is crazy.
SNEAKO has had such a crazy arc because when he was younger, he used to make like really good videos. He was a sharp kid, talk about very controversial topics. Always thinking outside the box. Then he had kind of like a huge fall. Kind of
got popular though.
Yeah, got popular, influenced.
Yeah.
Lots of degeneracy, kind of becoming like more like these kind of Aiden Ross guys and just people who make content just like for brain rot,
For money, basically, for the fame.
Yeah, and then now like with coming to Islam, going to Mecca, after also being kind of I guess banned on YouTube, you see like a huge shift. Like he sounds like just that short couple minutes made him sound like how he used to be.
Yeah, it's a very what's it called? Like cinematic view.
Yeah.
Malcolm X thing is cool. Him wearing glasses from back then. Because I remember reading Malcolm X's biography like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you don't even learn about him really. But he was one of the best civil rights activists, like only 50, 60 years ago when he was assassinated. And he was a Muslim.
Yeah. Shaheed.
Yeah.
There are 3 truths from that book that stuck with me for life. Number 1, a boy must struggle to become a man. 2, the greatest threat to corrupted power is positivity. And 3, go to Mecca. The neighboring holy cities of Mecca and Medina are where Islam originated, where the Prophet was born and where he was buried. It's the destination Muslims globally pray towards as if it's the center of the universe. But Mecca's atmosphere alone will have you believing that. Mecca is
blowing my mind that SNEAKO has made this video.
I know,
He used to mock Islam. Now look at what this is a whole documentary on Umrah.
The host to so many hilariously different walks of life solely off the collective intention to purify the heart. Visualize the...
Why is it hilarious?
I think it's because it's like there's so
person.
many different types of people just create like funny. Like you can't even believe it. And that's what I felt like. You go to Umrah and you'll find people like from the richest countries in the world, and you find people who don't even know how to use the bathroom. They've just come from this far village, some even by foot, walking all the way to Mecca, right? So it's a sight to be seen. I mean, you feel like the whole world is there. Hamza and I have both gone. I mean, I can definitely say that when I was there, last time I went, it was insanely busy. It felt like the entire earth was, like all the people were there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The madness of Times Square on New Year's Eve, but moving at peaceful chaos. A meditative energy so powerful and contagious upon arrival, it's overwhelming. Witnessing hordes of strangers naturally exist as if the passerby on both shoulders was their brother and sister. The simplicity of it is frustrating. Such a densely populated city commonly requires police ready in eyesight, yet the physical presence of security is nearly invisible.
Just the feeling you have being in Mecca or Medina and the other people there, you naturally just, like he said, like you want to just be nice to everybody. It brings the best out of you, your character.
Yeah, because if you're going there and it's the place where Islam originated, where God instructed Ibrahim alayhi salam to build the Kaaba, like this is the best place on earth for a Muslim.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna want to like cause harm or be violent in it.
Yeah. The sin actually, or the punishment, or the weight of a sin in Mecca is greater than committing a sin outside of Mecca, and so much so that the scholars, or some scholars, actually prefer not to live in Mecca. They live in the outskirts or even outside of Mecca for that reason alone.
Wow.
Because they don't want to be held accountable further for any sin they might do.
It's crazy. This guy is crazy. This kid, he has no arms.
Oh yeah. You'll see that there. When you
right then, my confusion turned frustration, was realized. The only real acting security here is God. Never has his presence been so obvious in every thought, every word, and every action than in Mecca. It's visible directly on the faces of the pilgrims. The look of calm determination and innocence,
so
a combined bliss, sadness, and compassion. I went completely silent for days while my soul adjusted from its familiar chaos to unwavering peace. So I could finally lower my guard and pray fearlessly next to my...
just running into the pigeons.
Everyone has to do that at least once when you're in Medina or Mecca. There's so many birds everywhere. Remember Masjid Quba, like on the white domes?
Mm-hmm.
It was just covered in birds. They actually have like these
There's so many pigeons. People sell like the bread so then you can throw it to them and stuff.
No, that's why they're there all the time.
My brothers from across the world, so I could walk amongst a crowd of complete strangers with the confidence and familiarity of a soldier amongst his army. So I can look into someone's eyes and see it's a pure soul and not that little character created out of fear.
Right.
The pilgrimage began in the city of Medina, where the prophet led prayer and where he was buried. For days, I didn't utter a sound just to properly hear distant chatter between prayers. I listened to scholars and sheikhs share wisdom accompanied by coffee and tea. Every day at the sound of prayer call, I routinely followed, each prayer fixing the noisy static blocking my proper...
Just think about which area in the world is like Mecca or Medina. That the people gather hundreds of thousands daily praying to God alone. No partners, no images, no statues, no nothing. Just direct worship to God completely. Full submission, your face on the ground.
Yeah.
Like that naturally to me.
And your attention and your subconscious just doing dhikr, doing like praise in your head.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to see a sight. You're going to pray and to like better yourself. You can't really see that either.
Yeah. I mean, there's no place on earth like it. Dedicated to just one God. There's no idolatry. There's nothing like that of any kind. All the buildings you go inside, they're clean, they're pristine. There's no images. Everyone is there just to pray, just to worship. It's such a humbling place.
Yeah.
For connection to God. I stayed silent while ego, depression, and fear desperately clamored for attention. Each prayer wiping away cobwebs covering my heart. I wandered the streets of Medina with both newfound maturity and an infantile carelessness, equipped with the understanding of perfect oneness the creation has with its creator, armed with the realization no amount of drugs and therapy can supplement God, reminded that although prayer in Medina is routine, back home it's replaced by weekends ritualistic drinking. I continued walking through the holy city just like the prophet before me, now fully aware of the uncomfortable truth. These coping mechanisms are mere bandages over the wounds of life.
This is also a painful realization I had. Like, whenever I would leave, I would go back to just, society. Everyone's angry. Everyone shuns, like, each other. Selfishness. And then you can...
Bad habits.
Yeah, bad habits.
Just
like everywhere.
You just forget about what's really important.
Yeah.
Like, it must have been even crazier for him because if he was born a non-Muslim, drinking, partying, drugs, popularity, fame, all that sort of stuff, then you just see that turning internally and going towards Allah is what you actually need. Yeah. Not just like having a messed up life and just going to therapy forever.
It's such a simple thing.
God or your internal connection.
Yeah, it's such a simple thing, but it feels so refreshing. It's like, you go Mecca, Medina to pray. Yeah, and it's the most beautiful experience. There's no experience even parallel to it.
It's true though, because there's nowhere like this in the world other than there. So you can never experience it in your day-to-day life.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing man-made that fixes damage done by God's creation. With every passing day, it becomes even more evident how the struggles of man will never be solved by worldly pleasures. How indulging as a means of distraction only grows the ever-increasing void in the heart. Each passing day reveals that the more glamorous the life is paid for by riches and fame, the more broken the soul is. Without God, they naturally worship celebrities instead, living life completely desensitized because everything is dramatized and sexualized, while Mecca is the place that tells you to be grateful just for being alive. The path of the West is accepted.
Bars.
The
That all
whole
rhymed.
thing is just amazing.
That all rhymed though.
Yeah, no, I mean, but think about what he's saying. You know, worship.
This is so crazy that he's saying this. I would never expect this.
Like, especially
he's one of the
as a
most popular influencers, like for younger people.
This is some of the best like dawah I've ever seen. Just this video.
This is better than what some Muslims say.
No, I mean, I've never
like the description.
Yeah, the description,
and like even the grammar.
Yeah, the video.
Like it's so powerful. The words he's using and everything.
Yeah, he's made it really. It's a well done video. You know, we're halfway, almost finished.
A mind state of constant outrage and exhaustion, of false happiness and confusion. Of course, a spiritual awakening among youth is imminent. Why else can someone who was raised on stimulation and made wealthy through fame finally find the truth in Mecca, a city where women appear like two floating islets under a cloak? Over a decade of seeking the next high to forget how meaningless it all is, only to find it wearing a white piece of cloth with my head to the floor, but getting revenge on opposition. Naked women at your fingertips. The whispers of temptation had never sounded less appealing. Nothing in this world is more important than following God, and Mecca is existing proof. And when it became clear my surroundings were the closest example of heaven on earth, the waves of guilt came crashing down. I finally found the truth I had been seeking, yet I couldn't shake this lingering feeling of despair, knowing this clarity was temporary. Eventually, I have to return back home to the place where prostitutes...
A lot of people frequently ask, like, what's the Kaaba? What's the black cube in the middle? It's just a building. It's like, you know, a church building. Even if the Kaaba was completely destroyed, we would still pray in the direction because that's the direction that has been ordained by God for Muslims to turn our worship to. But it's just a building. It's a literal house.
Is it made out of stone or something?
There's no images. There's no name attributed to it. You know, it's just symbolizing where the direction of prayer is.
Are celebrated, but the modest sisters who cover themselves willingly are called victims of oppression, where men become heroes for abandoning their family to dress like girls, where everyday people are tricked into worshiping the devil by worshiping themselves. I have to go back to the West. I should be fully present here while I have the opportunity, but Mecca is such an idealistic sanctuary from everything I despise. The comparison robs it of some joy. In this world, a place exists away from hatred, from divisiveness, confusion, and emptiness, and most people will never realize it. A place exists where the very meaning of life is answered collectively 5 times a day, where she's my sister and he's my brother, and together we're united under our gratitude that God created us. If the world knew the truth of Islam, we would have peace, but we never will.
Okay.
The final day.
What a video, man.
It's so nice how he's drawing like the compare and contrast to make it even more powerful.
Yeah. At least
not just
making
describing
it relatable,
yeah, not just describing how great Islam was, but describing in comparison the regular life that seems regular but it's actually so bad. Because you don't know what you're missing.
It's like fast food versus like fine dining. That's like the simplest example I can provide, you know? Like,
yeah, it's like if you eat fast food your whole life, you don't even know like good food is actually good. You just think it's regular.
Yeah.
But now that
you might even become disgusted with it, but you just do it because it's all you know. You know, that's why so many people
become desensitized.
Yeah, like people who live, you know, non-religious lives. You know, often many of them are so depressed, and then you find that the most or the consistently most happy people on earth are religious people. And I forget where the study is, and if I find it, I'll leave it in the comments. That Muslims are actually the happiest people overall globally.
Look at me, I'm happy right now.
Me too. No, but the point is that this, you know, just consuming things all the time, practically worshiping celebrities, you know, being involved in just, you know, drinking, partying, or sleeping around. Like, everyone or most people know deep down that this is just not a right thing to do. That it's filthy, dirty, waste of time, or, you know, it's just not good for me, not good for your body, right? But
there's no substance in that life.
Yeah.
There's nothing coming from it. It's nothing.
Exactly.
Living
Here,
like an animal.
you have community, you have niceness to others, praying with others to your creator, you know. It's a simple, beautiful concept that invokes peace and tranquility. We can testify to it, SNEAKO can testify.
Internally, that's the thing. Because in the West, you rely on everything external. But no one can go internal. That's why they just like take
spirituality
drugs.
Is dead.
Yeah, they take drugs or just go to therapy. Which is not bad to do, but if that's your only thing and you're not actually being internal with yourself and having like conversations with yourself and stuff like that.
There's a limit to how beneficial that can be.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it pales in comparison to something like this.
Exactly.
Day was dedicated towards the Kaaba. It's the first mosque ever built. Here, walking amongst my people, moving circular, almost in unison, connected in intention, but separated by design, like waves on an ocean. It never becomes more clear how no one here is better than the other. When you finally face God for judgment, He does not care what you're wearing. He does not judge you based on wealth or your fame or anything you seek in this life. We will only be judged on what we hold in our hearts. When I finished Umrah and looked at my shaved head in the reflection of the mirror, it was the first time since childhood I truly saw myself.
I can testify myself, once I learned about Islam and really accepted it, it gives you this just inner peace. Like, yeah, you go through your normal ups and downs in life for sure, but that foundation, knowing that, like, you know what the truth is, and you also know where you're going, that gives you this feeling that's irreplaceable. Like, I can only imagine how some people feel living their lives, going through their achievements, their failures, but they just don't even know why they exist, or they don't know what's going to happen. Like, you know, many people, they don't just choose to be atheists, but they don't choose a religion either because they're confused or they just don't know what to pick. So they live with this confusion for their entire life, and then once their loved ones start passing away, like, imagine the feeling that goes in their mind. They don't even know what's happening, you know?
Yeah, that's why people have midlife crises, because they live life like get a job, get married, but then they're like, why am I doing this? If
And
they
it's
have no
about to end.
purpose, then if you don't have that connection with God, or you don't have a purpose or know your true self, you're just living on autopilot, kind of.
Yeah.
You're not really thinking about anything.
You're just following a set path until you hit
You're
the
just
grave.
letting the world make decisions for you. Whatever happens will happen. Whatever society does, that's it.
Yeah. And then when you hit like 50 or 60, people just start realizing, wait, like, that's it? It just all flew by, even if you even make it that long, right?
I think this was a really good video. The way he described it, it's like if you're a non-Muslim, you would understand what Mecca is and what Umrah is, and the peacefulness and the benefits.
Yeah,
it was really eye-opening, and I like the parallel from the beginning, because Malcolm X, he was like a robber. He robbed people. He went in jail for many years. He didn't even know how to read, but then in jail he learned how to read and transformed himself, became a Muslim. With those people, I forgot what the name of them are. They're like, what's that group of Muslims? The black Muslims that I can't remember. Can't remember the name right now, but they all have X at the end, and they have their temples or whatever.
Nation of Islam.
Yeah, Nation of Islam. My bad. And then he became a Sunni Muslim and really transformed himself. He went to Hajj.
That's what changed him.
And then that's what really changed him.
Yeah,
it's the same. Like, SNEAKO's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And he didn't even know, like, 15 years ago when he read the book. Now he's doing it.
Right.
It's a whole arc.
Right? That's amazing.
That's the connection.
Yeah.
And he had the glasses back then too. Now he became a Muslim, and now he's doing Umrah.
Now he's wearing contacts.
Yeah.
You know what I'll also recommend for you viewers out there who are interested about Islam or kind of want to know what this is like, you know, just pick up a copy of the Quran or Google online, just, you know, www.quran.com or something, and read just read in English or whatever language, and try to ponder about it. Try to just open your mind to it. You know, it won't hurt to read it. You know, what's a good, they can recommend, like, Clear Quran, right?
Yeah, search up the Clear Quran.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good English translation.
Yeah, so you can just read through that and just reflect on it.
Yeah.
And
or the next time you want to go on a vacation, just go to Umrah instead.
Yeah. I mean, it's convert for they can go to Medina, they can't go in the masjids.
Oh yeah.
They can't enter Mecca.
Just go close. Go as close as you can. Yeah. Then you'll convert.
Alright, well.
But yeah, if you guys enjoy the video, like and subscribe. Leave any comments or thoughts down below in the comment section. And assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.